Good morning, happy Saturday to my 1010 YouTube channel subscribers. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. It's a Saturday morning. I'm on the bike trail. Just went from the bike trail to Dreamland Park, and then back to my house is about 4 miles. So I'm on about 2 weeks now of doing this. I think pretty much every morning. As soon as I wake up, I get my walk in. It's a really good way to start the day, and it's a really good routine. And the thing about routines is it's hard to get into a really good productive routine that you really like. It's hard to find that good rhythm that really fits you with your good, positive, productive routine. And then it's hard to get that way, and then it's so easy to get off of that, and then to start back into the routine. It's a constant struggle. I'm sure many people have the same experience and struggle of finding a good routine, sticking to the good routine. Maybe some people it's easier than others. Maybe some people it's harder. But I'm just thankful I'm back to a good routine and getting my walk in. I find that's just fundamental for my day, for my happiness and well-being. Get the blood circulating, get out in nature. And so it's just a blessing. Like, I'm looking in front of me, a squirrel just ran right in front of me. It's all kinds of animal wildlife. It's a real blessing. And another thing too I like about this bike trail is when I walk, it's no power lines, it's no electrical grids. So, and the human brain and the human everything, we run off electrical energy and stuff. So I kind of wonder, even though I Googled it, the science says that it has been no scientific proof that electrical power lines affect the human brain, but I feel like it's unhealthy, and it makes common sense. If you go live next to a power plant, electrical, and it's making that buzzing sound bzzz, like that, you pretty much know that's unhealthy for you. That's, you don't need a scientist to tell you that. So it just feels nice. I really enjoy this bike trail, and for coming from my house, it makes it so convenient because I don't have to drive any place. I have to use no gas in my car, and no, I don't have to take another 15-30 minutes out of my day to drive to a nice park. And so all that's nice, and I really enjoy that. And and this is just a beautiful time of the year. Here, if you look at these all this berries, which I looked these up. These are poisonous berries. Not sure if you guys picked them up on the camera or not, but they're just everywhere. I took a picture of them, Googled them, and they're mildly poisonous that'll make you nauseous if you eat them. So, but if they was edible, wow, it's a plethora of them. There's so many. So, but it's nice just to sit here, and I've done that many times on the trail where I'll take a picture of a plant and look it up and just see what its uses are. And so I've been started learning foraging, and I just have different interests, and I'm finding that out that I have different interests than a lot of other people. Like, I'm interested in plants, I'm interested in trees. Looking at a tree, identifying a tree, and saying, oh, that's an oak tree, that's a different kind of tree. Birds, oh, that's a different type of bird. I see some people have them type of interests and hobbies, but not very many people that I grew up with. They don't really find that stuff interesting. So kind of just learn on my own as I go. And it's been a nice journey of learning. I always like to learn new things. And but yeah, no point whatsoever in this video at all. It's like no topic at all. Just going for my morning walk, enjoying life. Went out last night and seen a band play. It was Off the Wall at Motorheads. It was okay. It was all right. It wasn't bad, but here's the real thing. They charged $5 to get in, which $5 is super cheap. However, there's places that's for free where the bands are even better. So let's kind of wonder, and just right now, just every little bit of money to me, $5 might not see, used to be nothing. Like $5, I would just, but now I'm just counting every penny. The world we're living in, everything's expensive. So, and I find it fun, like a hobby, being frugal and just not want to waste money. I don't want to be psychologically tricked out of my money all the time. It just, I feel like that's a lot of the American way, is for you to be tricked out of your money, and so it does. And then you got to work for it, then you have to work, so every, you spend that $5, well, now you got to go back to work. Some people make $5 a minute, some people make $5 an hour. So I guess it depends on what your income is, how freely you might spend that money. But either way, I think even if you had $1 million and you had all the money to spend in the world, and you just being tricked out of your money, just buying the dumbest stuff that you don't need, like buying double insurance for your car, or buying a new pair of shoes every day, or buying alcohol or drugs, or just whatever it might be that you're spending your money on. Even if you got an unlimited amount, if you're spending it foolishly, it has to leave you feeling pretty empty on the inside, and it's so easy to spend your money. And for instance, I feel that way just when paying my cell phone bill and my home internet bill through Xfinity was like 140, 150 a month. And I felt like that does me feeling, I was like 100, 140, $150 a month for a cell phone and home internet. That seems excessive. That seems like high cost. So I cut off the home internet, cut off the phone service, and so that saved me. You figure 150 a month times 12 months, that's 1,200 plus 50 times 12, 600. So that's 1,600 a year that you save. That's not a 1,600. I mean, that sounds like a nice vacation. You can go on a nice vacation for $1,600 if you just don't have a cell phone or home internet. You can take you a nice vacation. So, but anyhow, so I didn't have the phone and internet for like 6 months. I was just using the free Wi-Fi calling, and but it got to be a little bit inconvenient when I missed a few important phone calls. So I went and got the AT&T fiber home internet, which was crazy, $65 a month to start off. But then when you link it up to your bank account, which I had to go get a bank account, to save $10 a month, and so it's $55 a month. And then I got something in the mail where he said it's $42 a month for the fiber internet. And I went in there, and then the guy told me, which I know him, hey, he says, I know him through a friend, and he said it's gonna be too slow to run the PlayStation. And so I was like, okay, well, but that's from $55 a month, from $42 a month. So that would save you $13 a month times 12 months. So you look at another couple $100, so it's like, every little bit, it just keeps adding over to your overall. And if you look at it instead of monthly, if you take all your monthly bills, whatever it is a month, and then you multiply that by 12, then you start to like drop your jaw. Then you start to think like, damn, over a whole year I'm paying this much for this, and it just don't seem worth it to me anyhow. So I don't know. I just been trying to figure out how to live as cheap as possible, just because I don't want to sit at my computer all day long, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to make money just to spend it on dumb stuff. I'd rather be walking and sightseeing and all that type of stuff. And then plus, I kind of get an uneasy feeling of like, we're just all slaves. Like I just feel like we're all slaves just working for stuff we don't need, and spending time away from our family and friends and our loved ones just to work long hours. And the only thing, the only thing that's going to cover is your rent and food and your transportation back and forth to work. Well, if you was a slave and you lived on the plantation, they gave you free house. You know, they gave you your housing, they paid for that, and they gave you the food, they paid for your food, they paid for your clothing. And so it's basically, you know, but I mean, it's a big difference, definitely a big difference between 2024 and, you know, 1724. You know, I mean, you definitely have more freedoms to do different things and all that, but it does seem it's just kind of weird to me that, you know, you go work for somebody else, making that other person money, making them rich, and then, but it's not even enough to, you know, with the cost of living, with it is just going up, it's getting ridiculous, and it's just the beginning. So it's just kind of weird, you know. And then another thing I think about, just randomly thoughts on this, walk us off this morning, is that why don't people live as like in hunter groups no more and live off the land? Like, I mean, well, I know why, because they made it illegal. Like, you have to pay rent or they could lock you up. That was a Supreme Court rule. They just passed us another one of our Bill of Rights, you know, one of our constitutional rights. You know, if you haven't noticed, they've been picking off these constitutional rights. I know we lost like a handful of them over the abortion. You gotta have, you know, I forgot what it was, like the 8th Amendment, something. You know, but now you have to have a place to live. You have to pay rent now. You know, you can't just, you and your family, you know, I mean, I guess if you have your own land, but anyhow, it does seem like, to me, I would just wish it was a choice where you could be, where you could go into the workforce, you could work at Walmart and McDonald's, or you could go live off the land and go hunt deer and fish and trap and make, you know, I mean, you got a choice to do that, but it just seems like it's a lot easier to work at McDonald's and Walmart than it is to live off the land, you know. And that's basically how they made it, because 50 years ago, you know, 100 years ago or less, all the poor people own farms and they own hundreds of acres. My family had hundreds of acres, you know, both sides of my family had hundreds of acres. Okay, but then they're like, and, you know, people live cheap. You know, they didn't make, even if you had 100 acres, you know, you wasn't rich by no means. You was still poor, but you had enough on your land to support yourself and be just fine. However, and then they had the Industrial Revolution, and they had all these factories in Chicago, the Detroit car company and all that. So they told everybody on the farm, hey man, you could go to the city and get paid $5 an hour, sell your farm. And that's what all the poor people did. And now, you know, and they sold their farmland for $100 an acre. And now 50 years later, it's $10,000 to $20,000 an acre. So it's crazy. Now all the rich people had the farms and all the poor people live in the cities. So it was like a complete flop, because, you know, 50 years to 100 years ago, all the rich people lived in the city, all the socialites and all the people, they lived in the cities, and all the poor people lived on the farms. And now they just completely switched it up to where, you know, all the poor people live in the inner cities now. And so this kind of weird to me. This kind of weird, you know. But see, now when you're living in the city, you know, so you get paid $5 an hour, but now your rent's way high. You know, the food's high, the transportation's high. You got to pay all these extra bills. And so it's like trickonomics, you know, trickonomics, where they can trick you out of your money. And that's the economy. And it's actually somebody actually did, it's a whole study with the Nation of Islam on the big head scientists, where they said, you know, in the Nation of Islam, but this was written like 100 years ago. And they said, you know, at one point in time, it was all black people on the planet, which possibly could be true. And he said it was the scientist that came up, and he was treated bad by his people, and he wasn't accepted. So he was like, "Oh, I just don't like black people, and I'm gonna make, I'm gonna create, I'm gonna take the." He did something where I don't know exactly the whole thing of it, but basically, what he did was he grafted, and he genetically, not genetically, but over time, like breeding, like you breed dogs, and you can breed the kind of dog you want, or a horse to make it. So he was doing that, and he was taking all the and he was only breeding the babies that came out to be light skinned, and then they would just keep doing that. The dark skinned babies, they would kill them, and that was the big head scientist that he was talking about. And he said that's how the white people became over hundreds of years. And but they said the white people was taught trigonometry, or trickology, and basically where the white people, their skill was, they was able to trick people, out of their money and out of their power, and all these different things like politics and all this other stuff. And and I don't know how much truth is to that story. However, I feel like it's a lot of trickology. And I feel like it's really heavily present with the trickology. The psychological manipulation, social engineering, basically. All pretty fascinating, all pretty interesting. I like to think about a lot of different things. Like human evolution, human creation, human migration, geography, history. All that stuff is very super fascinating to me. And but anyways, my walk's almost over with. Just wanted to get on here, share a few things. Also, with the music, the recent music on the YouTube is that I have, because I don't have my phone. It's not. I just got a Wi-Fi phone, so when I'm walking, I have. I just found this YouTube music app, and it automatically been downloading songs for all these years. I had no clue, but you could hit go to my downloads, and automatically downloads, and I have all this music on my phone that I haven't listened to for 5, 10, 20 years, and so it's been nice listening to that music. However, I'm trying to not to listen to the negative music, because there's a lot of rap music on there that Tupac, Kevin Gates, and I like them. However, I don't want no negative message whatsoever in my brain. So I'm trying to listen to all positive music. And the weirdest thing is that out of all my downloaded music, and this not music that I downloaded, it's automatically downloaded. I don't never remember searching for Michael Jackson, but it's so much Michael Jackson on my downloads. And I feel like that's, and I've never been like a huge Michael Jackson fan, but I like them. And I was born in 1976, so I kind of grew up with the Jackson 5. And, Michael Jackson was before rap, And so I'm just finding that like a happy medium, with the Michael Jackson music. It's a nice, positive, upbeat, because I'm going through, a little bit of a rough spell, and I need some motivation, and music always really does help you get it through it. But I think while you're going through it, you need some good, positive affirmations instead of negative music, So I've been really trying to, even though I did put a couple little on the playlist, but I'm trying to keep it positive, try to keep the no profanity on the YouTube channel, and try to keep a nice positive message. So a few little songs snuck through there. Hopefully it wasn't too negative or too much profanity, but I do try to keep it clean. I don't try to, in real life, I try not to use profanity, and I try to talk like I'm educated, and I read books and stuff. So I don't really try to use the cussing and profanity. I try to find better ways to express what I'm thinking, So, but anyways, hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Nice chatting with y'all. Take care.